on, freedom fighters? Welcome back to a We Are Change Wednesday here on Break the Chains Media. Today is Wednesday, November the 5th, 2025. Remember, the 5th of November. I'm just, the gunpowder treason and plot, right? I know of no reason the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. Let's go. What is up? Appreciate y'all in the chat. Welcome. Trying to keep the spirits high after quite a utter disaster of a special election cycle last night. Yes, hey, what's up? Today is the 5th of November, but yesterday was the 4th, and we're having a very, for everyone who is in the know, obviously nationwide, we saw a complete trouncing of any and all Republican-leaning, conservative, mildly middle-of-the-road candidates for abject progressivism, leftism, socialism. I mean, Zohar Mandami, this guy. Every time I hear his name, it reminds me of the dude that sits in the fortune teller that you send a quarter to, and he tells you some crappy cockamamie fortune. Zohar Mandami. Like, this is the guy. I will grant you 3 wishes. You must give me all your money. The government is in control of your life. All the guns. Release the criminals. And then your wish will be granted. Right? That is the kind of thing that I think when I hear this name, right? But, yeah, we're going to talk about Zohar Mandami. We're going to talk about Jay Jones, the leftist who wanted to basically kill his political opponents and his the children of his opponents so that they can change on policy. And we're seeing this across the country. Every ballot measure, every metric on this election last night was absolutely thrown to the wind for any conservative efforts. And the reason why, there's many reasons, but I think the major determining factor is the fact that people don't show up, low propensity voters. People don't really care when Donald Trump isn't on the ballot, because for some reason people think that there's some sort of reason that we have to have celebrity worship and godlike worship to politicians. Oh, once that politician gets in office, everything will be better. Once we elect this person, it's all going to be good. No worries, no sweat up our backs. We don't have to do anything. Once he gets in, it's all downhill from here, folks. Couldn't be farther from the truth. We are dealing with like the most coordinated, multi-generational communist creep in this country right now. So that is what we're getting into. We're talking about the complete fallout and how we recollect ourselves. Where do we go from here, right? And the fact that this is not a new thing. We've been dealing with this for far too long, and we have to really get coordinated, because the left is coordinated. The left has a plan of attack, and that is exactly why we need to be very precision, laser-like precision on our strategy and what we do moving forward. We've got 1 year until midterms, and if last night was anything to show us what midterms is going to be like, folks, we are so fucked, dude. We are fucked. Not a good air horn. That wasn't a good air horn. But if this is the first time joining Break the Chains Media, hit that follow button. Give me that thumbs up on the stream, whether you're on Rumble, whether you're on YouTube. Subscribe, do all the things. Share, like, subscribe, all the algorithm things. Comment. You know how to do it, folks. We need people in the fight. If people don't show up, if people don't get involved, at least educating people, understanding what we have to do, understanding what we're up against. This Yuri Bezmenov, multi-generational, the desensitization, the demoralization, the destruction of our generations, and what it means to be an American, what it means for free market capitalism, what it means to have fiscally responsible government that doesn't push tyranny, that doesn't push Orwellian surveillance spy states, progressive tax rates, you name it. You know, the next thing they're going to go after is the guns. We're going to get into the whole filibuster thing too. So we're going to talk about the filibuster, because that is That is the biggest thing on the issue right now is the filibuster and this conversation of the GOP nuking the filibuster. So we're going to talk about that too. But I see the chat popping up. Appreciate Greyheart in the chat, Melindy in the chat. Thank you everyone for showing up. This is the first time joining Break the Chains Media. You can check out breakthechains.media. That is the landing page. That is the website. Social medias are here. Some of my older articles that I wrote were down there, but like I said, I still got to get those updated. It's very hard to just stay up to date. But Realm Walker hot sauce, if you want to pick up a bottle of hot sauce, seasonal batches incoming for winter, for the holiday season. If you want to pick one up, that is a great gift. From mild to extreme heat, Realm Walker hot sauce travel to 9 realms of Norse mythology. And we also got the chainsaw topic, cutting through government corruption, and the general state of Big Brother, right? We've got to get rid of that. We've got to get rid of these politicians who think that they're in control of our lives, when in reality we should be in control of theirs. Bring the power back to the people. Join Chainsaw Caucus right over here on the top right. You can click on the give. Is it really that loud? All right, we'll work it out. I did tweak my audio, so hold on. It might be. Actually, let's just move this a little bit closer. Maybe if I move the mic closer, you might be a little bit better. I did lower my mic settings so I wasn't so painfully loud as other videos. But if you go to chainsawcaucus.org, click on the give. I am an affiliate referral, Break the Chains Media over here. Your contribution of $10 a month goes a long way. Chainsaw Caucus is a 527 nationwide recognized PAC, and it can help fund and field property liberty-minded candidates. Background's a bit heavy. Good to know. Maybe I'll do this. Let's see. I just turned the background down a little bit. I turned me down. I maybe turn the background down too, right? Maybe that is what we need to do. But yes, Chainsaw Caucus, check it out. Great people for liberty-minded candidates, liberty-minded future. That is what we want to see, folks. Getting right into it. I am less, and the background is, yeah. Hopefully that's a little bit better. Hopefully it's a little bit more balanced now, and I still got the mic right about here. So. Either way, folks, Zoran Mamdani won the New York City mayoral race. F's in the chat for New York City, right? F's in the chat for New York City. Feel bad, man. Feels bad that they actually, I don't know if they necessarily forgot about 9/11 or they just are being replaced, right? That's what's really happening, in my opinion. They are being replaced by a foreign. Now, I wouldn't even say foreign born. It's a foreign generation from whether they were immigrants from 20 years ago that raised children here in New York City, or just the general influx of migrants and immigrants into that city, because New York City's always been pretty much a well-established melting pot, but its heritage and its essence has always been based in American values, right? Based in capitalism. I mean, you got the stock exchange. I mean, we're talking about the global major metropolitan hub of finance and commerce in the world. Yes, absolutely. And we're sitting here, and they just elected a foreign communist Muslim as their mayor. I can't even really say it, dude. It breaks my heart to hear that. But this is what we're dealing with. We are dealing with an influx of foreigners, an influx of this progressive brain rot. They think that they can offer all of these things, all of this pie in the sky ideas, bigger government. What did Mandami say? Violence is social constructs. Violence is a social construct. Folks, I don't even understand how we got here. We got here because people didn't give a shit. Yes, it's not as bad as England, but it is getting there. So, then we also got Jay Jones here. Jay Jones, this guy, this piece of work. I was trying to tell, I mean, Gandalf was telling these people that they can't get in, but I mean, for what it's worth, Gandalf, what do you got to say?
You shall not pass!
Yeah, it's pretty sad state of affairs, but alas, Gandalf had to fight the Balrog just as we now have to fight the communist here in America. They are here. They've been knocking for a long time, but now they've entered the house, and we have to fight back, because that is absolutely what is happening right now. Because we've got apathetic voters. We've got an apathetic voter base. No real motive. No real platform of ideas. Because now we see we're stuck in this weird window of being in a post-Kirk America. The right, two things happened to the right. And I had this conversation earlier today. But two things happened to the right when Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Yep, they're not disguising it anymore at all. The right galvanized in their thoughts as Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Post Charlie Kirk, we were living in a post-Kirk America, right? And now we're seeing the right infight with one another, infight with themselves about, you got these old guard conservative types that just want to stop they don't even want to stop the Democrats. They're just in the way, right? These Democrats are just in the way, or I'm sorry, the Republicans are just in the way of the Democrats, and they're just kind of slowing them down a little bit. Democrats have a motive, they have drive, they have direction. They want to destroy the Constitution, they want to destroy the Bill of Rights, they want to eliminate our gun rights, they want to eliminate our freedom of speech, they want to curtail the internet, they want to implement a progressive tax rate, they want to implement universal basic income, they want to implement all of these things. Socialized medicine. They want to do all of these things, but the only way they can do it is if they erode and destroy the fabric of what this nation was founded on and what this nation was established on, right? So, we have these folks here, Attorney General Jay Jones, one in Virginia, wanted to kill his political opponents, okay? Wanted to kill his political opponents' children, okay? Said this: these leftists vote in socialism, and we end up getting communism. Low information voters and a hive mind collectivism are destroying this country. Constitutional conservatives have their work cut out for them in 2026. The midterms, 1 year away. What are we going to do, folks? What are we going to do? Let me know in the chat, because I have some ideas, but it's going to take a long effort. It's going to take a long process for us to get there. Okay? Posted this one. Okay? Last night I posted this. It's November 4th, 2025. Today's November 5th. My thoughts as we are seeing a nationwide leftist rally in election results. You can vote your way into communism, but you'll have to shoot your way out. And boy, did the trolls click on this one. The trolls just got it right here. Democrats are messaging toward the lowest IQ people. People that just want free shit. You know? People that just want free stuff. And they don't think thoroughly through what it means, how the branches of government work, how our government has been established. And don't get me wrong, it's not perfect. I'm not saying by any stretch and measure that what the system we have is good. We have to use this system no different than the Democrats are using the system. The Democrats in Colorado and in other cities and states across this country have slowly seeped their way into the legislative process, into these elective bodies, okay, over the last 15, 20 years, and instituted and legislated their way into this progressive mindset, into this progressive creep that we are witnessing unfold right now. They have legislated themselves into these seated elected positions. Now with real power. They've entrenched themselves in the Secretary of States and these AG's offices and these governor races and these mayoral races, these state and local elections. They've entrenched themselves, and now they're trying to take a swing at the federal level. And what they're doing right now is very, very. We have to be aware of this, because what's happening right now is they're playing a strategy with this government shutdown and with this filibuster and this conversation now being had within the GOP to nuke the filibuster, right? This is the N word. This is the dreaded N word that Donald Trump, the people are betting on, right? I might have to say it. I might have to say the dreaded N word, the N word, nuclear, the nuclear option. We're talking about the nuclear option here, folks. And the nuclear option is nuking the filibuster. Okay? This is less than a week ago, but this is the conversation being had right now, folks. Trump urges GOP to end the shutdown by going nuclear on the Senate filibuster. Quote, get rid of the filibuster and get rid of it now. President Donald Trump said, this is not the way forward. And I know that there's a lot of people, especially Timcast followers. Timcast, Tim earlier today was saying that we need to nuke the filibuster because that's how the Democrats are playing. The Democrats are playing hardball, and it's only a matter of time before the filibuster's dissolved anyways. So we might as well do it. This is short-sighted. In my opinion, this is extremely short-sighted, and it's extremely dangerous to the integrity of what government means, of what government, the reason and the importance of the Senate filibuster, particularly. It's the last stonewall for protecting us against unconstitutional laws to be passed on simple majority. Okay? The filibuster was removed for appointing Supreme Court justices. The video just stopped. It might just be Rumble. Rumble does that from time to time because everything's good on my end. The Senate filibuster was removed for Supreme Court justice appointments. And now, as a result of that, we've gotten 3 conservative-leaning Supreme Court justice appointments based on simple majority. And the Democrats are pissed off about that. Now apply that to this situation. Wow. We are currently in a government shutdown, and the only path forward that these Republicans see, these Republicans see is to nuke the filibuster. It's short-sighted and it's dangerous. Let's take a listen.
Let's start there with the panel. Mary Catherine Ham is a Fox News contributor. Josh Kraushaar, also a Fox News radio.
This isn't what I wanted. Hold on. Can I refresh this? It's not the same one. Wait, what? I thought they were talking about the filibuster. No, whatever. Let's read the article, okay? President Donald Trump on Thursday night urged Republicans to end the filibuster in order to end the month-long government shutdown. In a late-night Truth Social post, Trump noted that Democrats had tried to eliminate the Senate procedure when they had control of both chambers of Congress and the White House during the Biden administration, but then Senator Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema, both of whom since left the Democrat Party have become independents, helped block the effort. Trump revived talk of the nuclear option after returning to his visit from Asia trip this week. The nuclear option of destroying the filibuster is dangerous and short-sighted. Okay? And let me know in the chat, because I genuinely believe that this is going to be the Achilles heel and the back door into tyranny, into overt tyranny. If you want to stop an authoritarian control, the filibuster is like our one saving grace. to making sure that unconstitutional things don't pass on simple majority. If you start getting the Senate to pass on simple majority, our House is already divided 50-50 damn near. The Senate is already divided 50-50 damn near. We are at such a polar opposites on political party and political party lines that there is no room for discussion anymore, and that's what the filibuster essentially was for, right? The filibuster's there so that the senators can talk between senators and say, hey, what are you looking for? What am I looking for? How can we meet in the middle? How can you agree to this bill? How can we agree to get to that 60-person threshold so we can actually pass something that works? Now, on the other side of this, I can understand where maybe like the Tim Pool types or the people proposing we nuke the filibuster. I can possibly see where they're coming from, because we need to quote, get shit done. We need to get shit done, and we need to pass all these things. It is extremely short-sighted, and I'll show you why. Okay. Harrison Edge Smith on Twitter. These MFers are going to nuke the filibuster, use their majority to max out weapon shipments to Israel, then let the left take over and send us all into camps. Caroline Levitt posts, now we need to nuke the filibuster. Now is the time to nuke the filibuster. This is not what we need to do. What are you confusing yourself on, Melindy? Check it out. This is my thoughts. I think it's a deep state strategy, the uniparty strategy, the Agenda 2030 strategy. Yes. Hey, Greyheart, you're back. Love to see that. If we nuke the filibuster, it allows for uniparty control unequivocally, one side or the other. It's no different than the president passing executive orders. You think the Trump administration or the Biden administration or any president passing executive orders is a good thing? I don't like living on executive orders. If we nuke the filibuster, we'd essentially be able to have a conveyor belt, a belt-fed system that would allow simple majority rule on extremely ridiculous bills. I think it's a deep state strategy. The whole shutdown, the political impasse, the fact that now the Democrats are waiting with bated breath for the GOP to nuke the filibuster so that the GOP initially right now could pass all of the stuff that they want to pass. But then what's going to happen in 2028? No, I'm not saying the EOs are bad. I'm saying that the EOs only work temporarily. Unless Congress passes legislation that supports the EOs, and this would be a reason why the filibuster is important. Because if you get a ridiculous executive order that ends up getting legislated on, that ends up getting passed through a simple majority, this is the danger, right? The first Congress set up rules for a reason. It's purposely hard to get laws passed. That means it's difficult to pass bad laws. Exactly. That's why the threshold, and that's why the filibuster is important. I honestly think we should it should be 2/3 majority, not a 60 vote majority. But that's just me, right? I think it's a deep state strategy. The shutdown, political impasse, forcing the GOP to nuke the filibuster is short-sighted victories. The Democrats will take 2028, simple majority pass, free speech laws, internet clampdown, gun control, universal basic income, federalized health care, Agenda 2030, pack the Supreme Courts, arrest political dissent, pass Chinese-style social credit score systems, open borders, 50 million more illegals, all with a simple majority, all because the GOP's short-sighted venture of nuking the filibuster so we can open up the government right now. That is what I see. That is the problem. The filibuster must remain. Nuking the filibuster is a terrible idea. Terrible. Yeah. The problem is we're living in a time that there is no political discourse anymore. We are trying to have conversations Right now, there's no political discourse. We're trying to have conversations with the left, with these progressives. We're trying to reason with them when there's no room for reasoning anymore. They want a progressive tax rate. They want gun control. They want universal basic income. They want open borders. They want illegals in this country to influx, to work low-wage, low-skill jobs. They want them to flood the market. They want us to live in a government-controlled, socialist-type, proto-communist hellscape. All manufactured, all operated, all run by the government. They want extreme totalitarian government control. And right now, I cannot see a future where the Republicans actually will pass anything of value and of merit from the midterms into 2028. Because you have Republicans right now who are Trump trained or MAGA fans who are only going to show up because Trump said so. When right now our entire country and our entire nation is on the brink of arguably a communist revolution. Because we're not being active and participating in our state and local elections. It all comes back to how active the voter base is. The one thing the Democrats have going for them right now is that they have an active voter base who shows up, who monolithically votes, who thinks hive mind, vote blue no matter who. You get these type of people voting for Democrats no matter what, voting for the J. Jones who want to kill their political dissent and their political adversaries, who get Zoran Mandami who wants to let prisoners out on the streets, abolish the police, free food, free this, government instituted grocery stores, ridiculous pie in the sky mentality. You get this type of politician running for office. The Democrats vote blue no matter who, and then they push it further, and further. While the GOP, while the Republicans, now wait a minute. No, we can't. Well, hold on. Oh, I only show up for my particular candidate, for my particular issue. No more, not anymore, never again. We cannot let it happen. If we don't stop them now, they're going to destroy this country. They're going to shred the Constitution more than it already has been. The Bill of Rights gone. Freedom of speech disappeared. Gun control, Second Amendment rights, see you later. The communist revolution is not those of past. Right now we are in a hybrid mind, this weird amorphous, uncanny valley, as it were, in a communist-style revolution, because we're sitting here dealing with immigration, open borders, ICE, higher taxes, the loss of the manufacturing industry here. We're dealing with all these things right now, the automation, AI, okay? It's all happening right now in real time. And the what they're doing is they're targeting low IQ, low intelligence voters, the left. The left is targeting these people who run on emotion and passion and just plain vitriol for the opposing party. And then they get out and vote. And what happens? The GOP just expects government to do a thing. Well, government ain't doing a damn thing for any of us. It's insane. The Republicans are like the Washington Generals. And the Democrats are like the Harlem Globetrotters. The Republicans are just getting in the way and slipping on banana peels and falling flat on their face, can't do anything, good for nothing, weak-willed, spineless, trying to slow them down. Meanwhile, the Democrats are dribbling the ball and doing backflips and spinning around and pulling strings over here and ballot harvesting over there and grassroots campaigning over here. Dunk after dunk after dunk, every single time. While the GOP just sits there with their thumb in their ass, wondering, well, how'd this happen? We'll get him next time. Sure. Gandalf, what do you got to say to that?
You shall not pass!
Yeah. It's just super frustrating when we're sitting in this world, and all I want to do is have a limited government, maximum liberty, respect the will and the freedoms, the liberties of the people. Stop taxing us out our ass. Let us actually return to the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, our founding documents. Okay? Right now, we are on a precipice. And if we don't get involved now, we might not ever see a country that we would like to see again. We might not ever see the America that we thought we had. Yeah, I'm reading the chat. Pat the Third. Go Mondami, go Newsom, protect the 14th Amendment, communism over capitalism. Man, I love the trolls. Love them. Can't get enough of them. Why do you think communism over capitalism is a good thing? Why do you think that? Why do you think a progressive tax rate, why do you think taxing the wealth out of everyone's pockets to send it to a government who is totally irresponsible with our money? We're $38 trillion in debt, and you think more taxing is going to be a good thing? You think letting criminals on the streets a good thing? Free speech for all. I agree with that. You can still be stupid and have free speech. That's actually how we have these conversations. So we can actually dispel and break down bad ideas. That's why communism has never worked. The only time communism has worked when you kill your political opponents. And right now, the only party that wants to kill the political opponents are the Democrats. The only time that communism's ever worked is when the communists take over control, subjugate the subjects, subjugate the citizens, take the guns away, curtail free speech, and kill any political dissent. They want to kill any political dissent. And right now, the only party that's killing any political dissent currently are the Democrats. You just elected Jay Jones, a man wanting to kill their political adversaries and have them holding their dead children in their arms to hopefully change their political policy, their policy stance. What kind of mindset is that? Killing your political opponents is straight up communism. Yes, and then we had a whole conversation. All these people earlier today trolling me, saying that you don't know what communism is. You don't even know what communism is. The consolidation of wealth, the redistribution of that wealth, the destruction of the individual, the destruction of the family, the destruction of identity, lack of religion, okay? Silencing political dissent. That is communism. Just because it's not the communism that you're used to, the communism of the shallow graves and the Holodomor and the deaths of millions, we're not there yet. But I guess New York City is going to have to see what type of communism Zoran Mandami's going to impose on the citizens of that damned city. That is a dictator democracy. Trump be like, "Oh no, the King's protests are terrorist attacks." I don't think he actually said that at all. So like, I don't know where you're getting that information. Yes, communism is the destruction of the individual, and the rise of the collectivism. The rise of collectivism. Cultural Marxism is very rampant in the left's ideology. Currently, right now, as it stands, Democrats, progressives, okay, they are all entrenched in cultural Marxism. That individual minority groups can individually have their own little worldview, but at the end of the day, you have to dissolve all of it to get their end goal. But they use these little sects of the population, whether it's LGBT, whether it's trans, feminism, no kings, just eat the rich, all these separate collective cultural mindsets. They all at the end boil down to the same purpose, the same goal. We are one. We all work together to destroy the upper class. Well, guess what? The upper class ends up being the only one in control, and we're all subjugated. The No Kings protests are terrorist attacks. Well, Trump does say some stupid shit, too. Trump does say dumb shit. Like he said, what did he say that one time? He said, nuke the filibuster. I don't agree with Trump to nuke the filibuster. Like, he says stupid shit. No, it's a socioeconomic system. Communism is a form of government that controls the economy, that destroys private property and reserves it to the state. Destroying the filibuster is a terrible idea. I'm not going to watch an 8-minute fucking video from Fox News. These are election results. No, that's not what I needed to do. Yeah, I'm just fucking tired of these people thinking that just because it's not the Stalinistic or Mao's style of communism, right now we're being subverted by sly little snakes in their communist approach. As a Norwegian and social democratic country, I find it strange that people associate it with communism. Socialism is communism you vote for. Socialism is allowing a democratic process to a communist approach. Consolidating that power into the government, into the state, to then determine how economies run, how businesses run, how much money you are taxed, how much money you receive. Yes. Thank you, Greyheart. Socialism is the stepping stone to communism. Stalin says it himself. And this is what people don't understand. And I hate when people bring up the Norwegian model. Do you know why the Norwegian model works? And do you know why the Norwegian model actually is accepted out there? A, the population is a fraction of America, and B, most of that country is secular. They don't even really have a religion. They just kind of exist in their. They get what it's like a 60%, upwards of a 60% progressive tax rate. Their government doesn't fund global wars. Their government doesn't fund a military-industrial complex machine. Since arguably World War I has been the bulwark, the bully of the country, the bully of the world. We were the militarized global superpower. And that's what we've been But now, the globalists, Agenda 2030, these elite, beyond borders, beyond power structure, these people sit at their World Economic Forum meetings, their global climate summit bullshit, the Council on Foreign Relations, all these fuckers sit up there and they just legislate from a higher socioeconomic structure beyond the government of the United States. But they need the United States to fall. They need the United States to be destroyed from the inside so that they can institute their globalist, communist utopia, which will never happen. They have to, I mean, arguably they're going to have to kill off a majority of the population for it to actually even work. It'll never actually work. Like, I don't even know why it even says that. Exactly. Seth, I appreciate you bringing realism to the conversation. The F in communism stands for food. All of Europe almost has a social democratic system. Yeah, and guess what else Europe has? What else does Europe have? Let's compare and contrast with your conversation, because they don't have free speech. They don't have the Second Amendment. They have migrant crime up the fucking wazoo, stabbings, knife attacks, acid attacks, rape gangs. Do you want to keep talking about what else Europe has? People are being arrested for Facebook posts. That's what Europe has. Your argument falls flat on its face when you try to talk up. You know what they do have? They also have Medicare. They also have socialized medicine. And you know what else they have? They don't even fund their own efforts in the United Nations. They have a fraction of the military that we do. All of our money gets sent overseas to fight foreign wars. That's why they have socialized medicine. So they have socialized medicine so that the illegal immigrants can come in and stab their citizens, and then they can actually pay for their own deaths, right? Is that how it works? Is that what socialism? A Democrat socialist state works like? What are you even saying? I don't even know what you're even saying. So I'm going to keep moving on. Yeah, I don't even know what that even means. Are you talking bot? That's what it looks like. You're talking bot. All right, let's keep going. For all my locals in the chat, Deep Singh Badesa, a Democrat activist here in Denver, policy advocate, activist, attorney, all these great little buzzwords, right? USA spends average of $12,600 per person on health. That's 58% more than countries with the best universal coverage system. Are you talking about subsidized? Are you talking about Medicare? Are you talking about Medicaid? Are you talking about us taking care of illegal immigrants? What are you talking about? Yeah, we spend a lot of money on healthcare, sure. But the fact of it is that we don't have a socialized system. Or I guess arguably we do. With Medicaid and Medicare is a socialized system, yes. But it's not a European model, or a Canadian model. Everyone always talks up these European and Canadian models when all I've heard is horror stories. Deep Singh says, my taxes went up to fund free meals for public school students. I'm super okay with this because the Colorado, everything went to shit here in Colorado. Proposition LL and Proposition MM. So everything totally went to shit here in Colorado. Proposition LL and Proposition MM both passed We got a couple. I mean, we didn't even really get any real wins. We got one win for the school board, but it's not really a win. We got trounced here in Jefferson County. But here in Colorado, Proposition LL and Proposition MM, they passed when we should have voted no, because when an irresponsible government who does not know how to manage money effectively asks for more money, why should we pass more laws and legislation that allows them to collect more money? I don't understand why we would do that. Doesn't make sense to me. That's why I voted no. But apparently, Colorado did not get the memo. But Deep Singh over here, my taxes went up to fund free meals for public school students. I am super okay with this. Apparently, he makes more than $300,000 a year, because that's the tax bracket that did get a tax raise, a progressive tax raise, right? And I said, reminder, deep pockets over here would rather force the state to levy taxes on a population to satisfy his good deed of feeding children, rather than actually donate time or money on his own accord. State-mandated altruism is not the win the left thinks it is. These people think that the government should be responsible and the government should force people to pay X, Y, and Z just to make everything better in the world. Well, it doesn't work that way, folks. I don't appreciate it. I don't appreciate the government taking more from the people when they can't even prove that they're responsible enough with our money in the first place. Why are we getting taxed more if they can't even do their job in the first place? Okay? This is really what happened, okay? Check it out. You want to stop progressive taxes, policies, and politicians? We need to do some serious constitutional conservative collaboration, coordination, and focus, and get in the ground game if we're going to hold any ground against these leftists in the 2026 midterms. We need to stand our ground against this communist creep. We're building a team here in Colorado. Are you willing to do the work? This here is the response and reaction to the 2025 election results across the country. Democrats were in a downturn, and as the election results came in on Polymarket, the Democrat Party likelihood to win the midterms in 2026 went up to 70%. Republican Party was on the rise. But because the Republicans are weak and feckless and they don't have a fucking spine, and they just kind of stand there with their fucking ass in their hand, not knowing what to do with it, we end up falling flat on our face every time. We have no message, we have no principled leaders, we have no energy moving forward. And that's what I'm asking you to do, is collaborate and get involved with people who are liberty-minded, who are freedom-oriented and focused, so we can win against this communist creep that's happening not just in Colorado, but across the country. We have to make a stand. We have to make a change here in 2026, here in the midterms. We've got 1 year to do it, folks. We've got to get right on messaging. We have to return to fiscal responsibility, rein back this uncontrolled nature of this government. This government has been corrupt and bloated for far too long. We need to do something about it. Look at all indexes. USA long behind Europe. I don't want a socialist state. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The reason that the United Kingdom, the reason that Europe has its socialist options and all of its socialist bullshit is because America's forking over $1 trillion a year now for the fucking military budget. America's shipping all of its money, all of its tax dollars goes to foreign countries, foreign wars, and all this USAID bullshit that's been happening for decades. You wonder, one of the wealthiest nations in the world has been extracted of its wealth. one of the wealthiest. Sorry, I'm like, I need more coffee. I need more coffee. America was one of the most wealthiest countries in the world. Arguably still. America's wealth has been extracted from it year over year, decade over decade, to fund foreign wars, foreign policies, all of this regime change bullshit. We've been the military bulwark, the bulldogs of the global community for decades. America has been turned to a husk of its former self. Ever since post-World War II, we had about one decade in the 1950s where we had some semblance of prosperity. That's how we got the baby boom. That's how we got, all of this American capitalism booming post-World War II. But America has to die for the globalist Agenda 2030 narrative, this communist takeover, a version 2.0, 3.0, 5.0, because communism never works. Communism always ends in starvation and death. Democide. Look it up. Democide. Look it up. That's what happens in a communist-controlled nation, communist-controlled countries. And then, once America is destroyed from within, they can institute their Agenda 2030 plan. But it's happening right now before our eyes. You have to be aware, you have to be privy to it, and you have to be about it. Otherwise, we're going to end up like China, where everything is hyper-regulated, hyper-controlled through a technocratic, Orwellian, authoritarian surveillance state. It's gonna be like a mix of like the European model, the UK model, and China. It's gonna be like a weird hybrid, but this is what they want. This is how they have to institute it. And the way they do it, they need to destroy the Constitution, destroy the Bill of Rights, and destroy the Second Amendment. I keep rambling, so I keep getting new like clips and news bites, but that's just me. I'm like multitasking here. Appreciate everyone in the chat. I know I'm kind of rambling, but whatever. Fuck it. I do what I can. Here's some other stuff I wanted to bring up. Forest Mommy bringing the receipts. Bringing the receipts. Who remembers who Pat Stryker is? Does anyone know who Pat Stryker is? Billionaire Pat Stryker helped push LL and MM, which passed. Let's see here. Billionaire Pat Stryker helped push Proposition LL and MM. All of this money for a ballot measure that could have gone straight to kids. This is the receipts. These here are the receipts for the people and the money that was funded to push and propose Proposition LL and MM. $430,000 for Hunger-Free Colorado. Save the Children Action, $135,000. Nourish Colorado, $71,000. Stand for Children, $63,000. Pat Stryker, a philanthropist, $50,000. The Rose Community Foundation, $50,000. Hundreds of thousands of dollars went in to promote propaganda to push the ballot measures LL and MM to feed hungry kids. All that money could have been used to feed the hungry kids rather than pushing for legislation and propositions that would tax and subjugate the people of Colorado more. Spend money to steal money to spend money. That's how stupid the Democrats are. That's how retarded the Democrats are. Another reason why low propensity voters, people that don't show up when it matters, people that don't even get the information, they don't even know about some of these elections. I talked to half of my colleagues and half of my friends. They didn't even know that there was an election. Check it out. Colorado's got what, like 4.5 million registered voters. That's including the unaffiliated illegal immigrants that are registered through the DMV. The progressive left has the coordination, effort, networking, and ground game to win in 2026. Republicans don't show up, they don't participate, and they don't care when it matters most. And then they bitch when their state goes to shit over progressive policies and leftist legislation. This has to change if we are to save America. We got to get active, and we got to get active now. Election night reporting complete. Voter turnout. 35% of Colorado voters showed up to vote in the 2025 election results. 35%. 1.4 million ballots cast and 1.4 million ballots were cast and 4.1 million active voters in the state of Colorado. You tell me what the problem is. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Yeah, I can keep ranting. It's been about an hour, though. It's been about an hour. Who else we got in the chat? Hanging out here. We got a good crew in here. What's up? Appreciate you all. Yeah, no, I've been ranting. I've been raving. I'm just pissed off. I'm just kind of black-pilled. Not gonna lie, little jaded. But it doesn't stop the efforts. It doesn't stop the movement forward. We have to continue fighting. We have to continue having these conversations, letting people know that communism, just because it doesn't show up with a big hammer and sickle Stalin-esque style, it doesn't show up with a tank driving down fucking what the fuck's it called? Why can't I think of the name? The Chinese square. Whatever. Just because it doesn't it's not a Panzer rolling down the street. Just because they're not killing people in the streets. Just because there's no bread lines yet. Just because they're not going door to door confiscating guns yet. Doesn't mean that the communist revolution isn't happening right now. We need to reenact the Communist Control Act of 1954. Right now, there are millions of Democrat Socialists of America, registered voters, registered elected officials with the Democrat Socialist of America supporting them. Representatives, senators, and now the New York City mayor, Zoran Mandami, is a registered member of the Democrat Socialists of America. They are trying to push a progressive tax, a progressive state, gun control, and freedom of speech curtailing, and this destruction of the identity of America right now. And if we don't do something about it, this is our only window. We've got about a year. We've got a year, maybe two, to get this sorted out. But right now we're dealing with a feckless and useless federal government who's sitting on their hands and biding their time. I can't see anything. I can't see a successful way forward unless we get active at the state and local level. We have to turn the elections around now. And unfortunately, we just got our ass handed to us in this last election cycle yesterday. It's not looking good. Appreciate everyone in the chat. I need to see what we can do next here, though. Who else? Because I am wrapping up. It is coming on to 5 o'clock. It's been about an hour. Let's see if someone else is live right now. Is the one and only live right now? No, he's not. But let's see if this one is. Let's see if... Is he on? He is not on right now. Let's see if he is on. Probably not. I don't know. Maybe. No, he's upcoming. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. You know what? We don't have to rate anybody. It's fine. I appreciate everyone being here. Yeah, I don't know. Folks, let me know. Follow me on X. Follow me on Instagram. Be a part of the change you want to see in the world. It's tiring to constantly hear the yelling and the screaming that I do, but I don't know. Today was just kind of a ranting day. Really tired, really burned out because of the absolute trouncing that the GOP received yesterday. But it goes to show you that we are in a bifurcation. We are in a time that I don't know what to call it. Do you call it Balkanization? If it's not the Balkans, the Balkan states don't exist anymore, but something very similar is happening right now. Right now, we are seeing I don't even know how to explain it. Right now we're seeing a Balkanization of America, but it can't be called the Balkanization of America anymore because the Balkans don't really exist. I mean, they do, but the Balkan states separated, right? So what would it be called to have the Balkanization of America in America? We have a group of nationalist, America first, America only, limited government-minded individuals who do not want socialism, who do not want communism. We've got a group of communists. We've got excuse me. I know you hate when I call you communists. Right now we have a group of progressive leftists who want to see a multicultural Marxist utopia on the land in which we call America. And we have a pro-America, pro-liberty, pro-Constitution, pro-Bill of Rights, a strong border, limited government, but firm on its laws type nation living on the same piece of land. What do we call that? It is a Balkanization, but it has to be something different because it's the bifurcation of America, the dissolution of America. You let me know. It is frustrating, to say the least. With Zoran Mondami's win, with Jay Jones winning, it's a very bleak future for America. And this is the kind of America that I do not want to see perpetuate any longer. We have to do something about it. We need to do something about it, and I hope that we all can get together in our like-mindedness, in our path forward to do something, to make the change, to be the change you wish to see in the world. Texit by 2030, in my honest opinion. I think we're going to see a lot of drastic fundamental change happen within the next 5 to 10 years. We are going to see states attempt to secede. We're going to see some sort of collapsing and destruction within our cities and communities because it's very hard to have these conversations with people who objectively do not see the same worldview that you do. If we have people sitting in this country right now who want open borders, unfettered immigration, gun control, criminals on the streets, the transing of children, gender mutilation, gender propaganda, I don't know where we're going to be. I don't know what we're going to be. Like, what are we fighting for? I know I see the enemy. I see the evil in all of its forms. What is the platform and what is the policy that we are standing on? I'm standing on absolute freedom of speech. Everybody should have a right to bear arms. Complete repeal of any unconstitutional gun law. Constitutional carry. Reserve the rights to the states. Limit government. We need to cut back 80% of government bloat and bureaucracy. taxes, fees, fines. All like our government system is not working. And the sad thing is that the people at the top have no interest on the people in the cities, because a lot of the federal government is already bought and paid for by foreign interests. They're all being controlled by global interests. Excuse me, not all. A large majority of them. This is what we need to do. We need to get people from the state and local levels who speak and think like this about limited government, about maximizing liberty. We need people like this to get into the powers up in D.C. We needed to get them in 2 decades ago, honestly. But better late than never? I don't know. Folks, I can keep ranting. I appreciate everyone. Melindy, I appreciate you. Marie in the chat, I appreciate her if they're still here. Greyheart, everybody in the chat, thank you so much. If you do want to support one more time, let's see if the chainsaw is actually loud again. Let's see if it's actually loud as it was. Hopefully it's not as loud. But yeah, we gotta cut through the slack. Go to chainsawcaucus.org if you are interested in your money, your donation, your efforts, working towards a common goal of limiting the scope of governance, cutting down bureaucracy, bloat, corrupt officials, corrupt politicians. Chainsaw Caucus maximizes liberty. Inspired by Javier Milei's Afuera movement, right? That's why we do what we do. Radical liberty candidates and politicians committed to protecting individual freedoms and advancing capitalist policies that empower communities. Be a part of Chainsaw Caucus. Helps the stream. Link in the description below if you are interested. Chainsaw Caucus. We also have Realm Walker Hot Sauce if you are interested. Realm Walker Hot Sauce on Instagram, or you can message me at breakthechains.media. That is the platform. That is where I post all of my conversations, everything else here. But folks, that is going to do it for this live stream. I appreciate you joining me. Thank you so much. And until next time, fight for freedom and never give up.